got initiated by Srila Prabhupada in 1971. He joined in Arizona, and then since that time, he has been doing a lot of preaching activities, especially the book distribution, which is very, very important and dear to Srila Prabhupada. He has been distributing in many libraries, universities, individuals, and he was also leading Radha Damodar, famous Radha Damodar Sankirtan party. Then he was preaching in Fiji, Japan. And then in 1982, Maharaj took sannyasa. And since that time, he has been increasing his preaching activities. Maharaj is the GBC member of Japan, and it got expanded to Thailand, Indonesia, and then Greece and West Africa. So without taking much of the time, I would request His Holiness Kavichandra Maharaj to continue and enlighten and share his personal association with Srila Prabhupada, so that we are able to also imbibe the qualities of Srila Prabhupada and wonderful Prabhupada disciples. I hope I hope His Holiness health is okay. When he came here 2 weeks back, we saw a sort of stunt up here. Are you okay, Maharaj, now?
Yeah, that's all healed up. All
Okay.
the tests said all clear.
Okay, thank you so
PET
much.
scan and sonogram and everything said.
Okay, thank you so much, Maharaj, for joining us. Over to you, and you can go on spotlight to Maharaj. Thank you. Over to you.
Om Gana Timirandasya Gananjana Shavakaya Chaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sajajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Jajibam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatani Manchakalpa Jubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnave Vyo Namaha Namo Mahavanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tushe Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Limostite Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai, so this is a most auspicious day. I've been going through a lot, so listening to a lot of offerings. We can just see the unlimited power of Prabhupada here in the Govardhan Eco Village, and the temple room was completely full of, well, mostly local, a lot of local people, village people, devotees from Bombay, devotees of youth, kids from the village and the Gurukul, people that are doctors, engineers, PhDs that are brahmacharis, things like that. So we can see Prabhupada's potency more and more by just seeing how, even after he's not physically present, so much, is going on. So this is something, it's phenomenal. But it's like we had Janmashtami, and I would always read the Queen Kunti's prayers, why different people say why Krishna appeared. And I think more than once she mentions it's bewildering. Krishna's unborn, but he's born. He's here personified, he's afraid of him, but he's afraid of his mother's little stick, and on like that. And the more we hear about Krishna, I do want to translate, by the way. I forgot.
I don't think, Maharaj, you can go ahead, as I'm seeing the audience, all English-speaking audience only.
Okay. So this is when the more we hear about and see what Prabhupada accomplished, it's more bewildering. But it's Krishna's Shakti. Prabhupada was totally surrendered to Krishna. And so Krishna worked through him, and he could do things, even more phenomenal than Krishna practically. So we can just see the movement all over the world. We can't even see all over the world, but we can hear about it. More and more books are being distributed. And, usually, we have the V.S. Puja book is now available online. But the amazing thing is this poem that Prabhupada wrote, several of them. The one is his V.S. Puja offering, absolutely sentient thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity thou hast moved. You think about that, Prabhupada's pranam prayer that, as far as I know, he made up kind of on the spot. We don't know for sure, but originally there was just a Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. And then devotees ask him after a while something more personal, more specific. And then he gave this one, Namaste Gauravani Shrimurtaye Dinatarani. Nirvisesha Shunyabadi Paschachade Satarani. He came to eliminate this nirvisesha and shunyabadi, these impersonal concepts. They're really the same, but both of them think theirs is unique. But the shunyabadis, the Buddhists, they say everything is nothing, comes from nothing, and it's really nothing, and on like that. But that's not the case. And then the Mayavadis, which are the Indian teachings, they say everything is all one. This individuality and everything is something illusory and it's not true. So Prabhupada, he defeated that, all his purports, all his lectures, very strongly, to the point like when when he was first in New York and he had nothing and he was just staying with that. Dr. Mishra gave him one little office to use. And Dr. Mishra would have yoga classes, and everybody liked Prabhupada singing. So, and one day he spoke. Dr. Mishra and Prabhupada, they were friendly, but Dr. Mishra was my buddy. So philosophically, they weren't in the same category, but Prabhupada spoke on that Bhagavad Gita verse. Never was there a time when I don't exist, nor you, nor all these kings, and never there will be a time when we don't exist. And then he hammered it out so powerfully how, we're all individuals. And then Dr. Mishra, he said, Swamiji, I think you can just sing, but you don't need to, speak. I don't think you need to speak anymore. So he didn't, because that was complete opposite of his, teachings to his students. But that's what Prabhupada did. We're all individuals. We all have individual relationships with Krishna. And so absolute ascension, thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity, thou hast moved. So Prabhupada wrote this, I don't know exactly what year. But it was his offering to his spiritual master. And when his first master, when Bhaktivedanta read this, he liked it so much, he kept it with him. He was showing it to everyone. Look what my disciple has written. He liked it so much. And he said, whatever he writes, publish it. He told his magazine people. And they started to call Prabhupada the poet. So I'm just going to read it. It's sweet English poetry. And we get some idea of, all of Prabhupada's teachings in a very concise way. And also Prabhupada's personality, his relationship with his spiritual master. Adore ye all the happy day, blessed in heaven, sweeter than May, when he appeared at Puri, the holy place, my Lord and Master, his divine grace. Now there's a recording of Prabhupada. Devotees found in England somewhere a copy of the Harmonist magazine that was published by Bhaktivedanta. And they found this offering in that magazine. And then they showed it to Prabhupada. He was so happy. He was saying, I thought it was lost, So he was commenting on it. He was reading it and commenting on it. And, he was very happy that it was found. Oh, my master, the evangelic angel, give us thy light, light up thy candle, struggle for existence, the human race, the only hope is divine grace. See, it's Bhagavad Gita, we're all struggling for existence. Krishna gives light in the heart. Misled we are, all going astray. Save us, Lord, our fervent pray. Wonder thy ways to turn our face. Adore thy feet, your divine grace. Now, this one is very important because we still have people saying the no fall and all that. But Prabhupada says, forgotten Krishna, we fallen souls, praying most heavy, illusions told, darkness around, all untraced. The only hope is divine grace. So we could say the same thing about Prabhupada if we had the realization. But forgotten Christians, so you can't forget something that you didn't know in the first place. So, message of service thou hast brought. Because the Mayavadis are very averse to the idea of service. They want to be supreme. So they think we'll become one, whatever that means. But they don't like the idea of service. But Vaishnava is service. Message of service thou hast brought, a healthy life, as Chaitanya brought. Unknown to all, it's full of grace. That's your gift, your divine grace. And number 6, absolute ascension thou hast proved. Sentient means hearing, seeing, talking, feeling. Sentient, not some unknown, unthinking thing, or nothing, but sentient. Krishna sees us, he hears our prayers. Impersonal calamity thou hast moved. This gives us a life, anew and fresh. Worship thy feet, your divine grace. Had you not come who had told the message of Krishna, forceful and bold. That's your right, you have the mace. Save me a fallen, your divine grace. This is before Prabhupada went to America. A line of service is drawn by you is pleasing and healthy, like morning dew. The oldest of all, but in new dress, miracle done, your divine grace. That's just very short. Of course, there's others where he was trying to wake up his godbrothers and saying just a festival of flowers, and this is not the real thing. The real thing is to get out and preach and not to be quarreling. So Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada took the mercy, and we all know something of how he struggled. I was just listening to it very detailed. Somehow Prabhupada had many different businesses, and somehow they just fell. Sometimes they were doing very good, and somehow they just failed. And Prabhupada, at one point he saw that verse where Krishna tells Yudhishthira, when I especially favor someone, I take away everything. He said, Prabhupada asked his godbrother Sridhar Swami, does this refer to me? And he said, yes. It's definitely for you, because he was meant for something else. Materially, it was predicted he would be a very rich man. His wife and oldest son took it that because he was too much preaching, too much doing those kind of things, that's why he didn't get so rich. So they were against that. The oldest son actually became very inimical when Prabhupada left home, and later dedicated his life after Prabhupada's disappearance to trying to take everything. But Prabhupada was meant for saving the world, and so his potency is increasing, because every devotee that comes and everybody who's preaching is representing Prabhupada. So it's just getting bigger and bigger. Something like these weapons we read about it in the Mahabharata or something. you shoot one arrow and it becomes thousands of arrows, and every one of them hits their specific targets. And so like that, Prabhupada, each one teach one, but he started out with absolutely nothing. He didn't really get any real followers right away. And in America, he had struggled. He was, had to move around a lot. He had his things stolen twice. And finally, he got started. And then San Francisco, and then he had visa problems also. Not everyone, follows all that, but he had only a 1-year visa. And a 1 month visa. So he had to keep renewing his visa. And then at one point he couldn't renew it anymore. He had to go to Canada. And of course, then the temple was getting started there. That's where he sent the devotees off to London. And then with the help of Allen Ginsberg, of all people, it was very favorable. He managed to get Prabhupada a religious visa or something so that he could stay in America. And Prabhupada was very happy. He always thanked America for giving him all that facility. His first disciples who, went out around the world. So, and in spite of everything he was going through, he was always translating. And I've thought about it lately. Prabhupada wasn't simply translating. If he had just translated the Bhagavatam, it wouldn't have been such a big project. But he had to write the purports. He had to study the commentaries of the previous acharyas and then write purports, compose them. Then he says Krishna was dictating to him. He was just, writing it down, or he was just repeating what he was hearing from Krishna, and then it was getting typed, and now we have all these books. And Prabhupada read his own books, especially Krishna book. He really liked that one. I saw myself, Prabhupada, in the afternoon when things were quite quiet, like 5 o'clock or something around Los Angeles. Prabhupada would be sitting in the garden just with his servant, and the servant was reading him Krishna book. And I only went in that garden at night. He would have a few devotees in the garden one or two times. And then one time, same thing. Prabhupada just sat there and his servant read about the Krishna book, and Prabhupada just relished it. And he was totally in ecstasy. So after 42 days on the ship, going to America where he didn't know anybody, he had no money. He had, a sponsor. He'd written him one letter right before he got on the ship, telling him the date of his arrival. He didn't really know if anybody was going to greet him. Prabhupada said when he got off that boat in New York, he didn't know which way to turn. But there was someone there to greet him, the tourism department. And they put him on a bus, and he had a night bus ride to go to a small town, the Agarwal's house. And they had to get him a room at the YMCA because they had a small house and a baby, and he had to come to their house to bathe. Prabhupada said, and they were keeping meat in the fridge, but he said, he had to tolerate it. So when he got off the boat, first it landed in Boston. And he was able to get off the boat and walk around a little bit and see America. It's hard to imagine, because Calcutta now is what it is. Calcutta then, even Bhakti Churma told me when he was a child, Calcutta was such a wonderful, beautiful city, very peaceful. Many times he would just stay at his friend's house in the night, and the mother never worried about him. That if he didn't come home at night, she knew everything was all right. It's not like that anymore. Now there's whiskey shops and meat shops and everything. But when he walked around America a little bit, everybody's been to America, or Dubai is the same. There's meat restaurants everywhere. There's whiskey shops everywhere. You know, there's every degraded thing everywhere, and women are dressed over alluringly to victimize the minds of the men. So he got back on the boat and he wrote this beautiful poetry. He wrote it in Bengali, Markane Bhagavad Dharma. So I'd like to read that. I'm not like Agni Dev can sing it so beautifully. He sang it one night in Dubai. Boro Kripa Hare Krishna Adamer Pati Tilagi Ani Lele Kata Koro Ebe Gati. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like. So this is his humble surrender. You can do whatever you like. This is what, we should be aspiring when we have daily mind, when we really aren't conditional in our service. Prabhupada showed us unconditional service. Whatever you like, Krishna. Not like, Krishna, I want to do this. I want to do it here. I want to do it like this. I want this service. Not like that. Just do whatever you like. Ache kichu karja taba eanu mane nahe keno anivena e ugrastani. But I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? So he's thinking America is a terrible place, and all over the world, people still they want to go there. They think it's something wonderful. Many people, because they have all this freedom of intoxication, freedom of pornography, freedom of everything. The Prabhupada was thinking this is a terrible place. Most of the population is covered by material modes of ignorance and passion, absorbed in material life. They think themselves very happy and satisfied. Therefore, they have no taste for transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they'll be able to understand. Tabe jadi taba kripa oya akuti sakali sambhava oy tumi se kautuki. But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the expert mystic. Faith, unlimited faith. I can't see how it can be done, but I know it can be because Krishna can do anything. That is surrender. That is real humility. Even though we think it's impossible, I can't do it. We do it anyway because if Krishna said to do it, Guru says it can be done. How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? O Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message. All living entities have come under the control of the illusory energy by your will. Therefore, if you like, by your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion. Taba icha hoy jari tadera uda bujibe nischai tabe kata se toma. I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation. And if a sober person repeatedly receives it with the submissive oral reception, he will be able to understand your message. Then he quotes a series of Bhagavatam verses from chapter 2, the first canto. Some of them we're quite familiar with. Shinvata Swakata Krishna Nasta Prayesha Bhadreshu. It is said in the Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular hearing the Bhagavatam and rendering service under the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is practically destroyed in loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental song, is established as an irrevocable fact. That means you can't take it away. Irrevocable. Like I know in America, that drunk driver or something, they will revoke the driver's license, they take it away. But bhakti is irrevocable. At the time of loving service is established in the heart, the modes of passion and ignorance are lust and desire disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes happy. Thus established in the mode of goodness, the man, rejuvenated by loving service to the Lord, gains liberation from material association and comes to know scientifically the personality of God. Thus the knots in the heart and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. That's the Bhagavatam. Then he repeats it basically in Bengali. Rajastamo hatte tabe paibe nista Hridayara abhadra sabha guchi be tahan. He will become liberated from the influence of the modes of ignorance and passion, and all inauspicious things accumulated in the heart will disappear. That's the nasta prayeshu of the Vaishya. How will I make them understand the message of Krishna consciousness? I'm very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Therefore, I'm seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I'm powerless to do so on my own. Atacha enecho Prabhu kata boli bari, jay tomara etche Prabhu koro e bari. Somehow or other, O Lord, you brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or failure as you like. Success or failure, probably doesn't care. He just wants to try whatever Krishna wants. Generally, we want success. We're not going to say, if you want me to fail, but Krishna may want us to fail for our own purification. After Prabhupada's business has failed so many times, then he had the dream where his guru told him, you should take sannyas. A spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message. So if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. And he did that. Like Prabhupada's writing was so transparent for any type of person. For the Western people who never heard of Krishna, if they heard of anything spiritual, it was Mayavadi Buddhist, mixed with intoxication. But Prabhupada, just by reading a little bit of Prabhupada's books, people just changed. Krishna gave him that power. Tava kripa alimura kacha shuddha bhavi. Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I'm sure that when the transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel gladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life. So I remember the first time I heard Prabhupada speak was at the Rath Yatra in San Francisco in 1971. Prabhupada was sitting on a vyasana way up on a hill. And he was speaking. Somehow they had very powerful sound system. And I hardly, we had the Krishna book and Isha Upanishad, which I read over and over again. But when I heard Prabhupada speaking, it sounded to me, I never heard anything so clear in my life. It's so just like bright light, like if you watch the sunrise, gradually you can see everything, little details, leaves on the trees, birds. When the sun really gets out, you can see everything really clearly. And then there was one hippie next to me, and he looked over to me and he said, I can't follow his accent. And I looked at him and said, what accent? But a lot of devotees, even now, they say they hear Prabhupada's lecture and can't understand his accent. I guess there was some accent, a little bit, Prabhupada used and pronounced a few words in Scottish, English, like zero, things like that, instead of zero. But I don't know, it's so clear, and especially when you read the books, there's no question, the words just jump out of the page. So he said, I'm just like a puppet in your hands. If you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance, make me dance, make me dance, oh Lord, make me dance. Nacho, nacho, Prabhu, nacho se mate. Make me dance. And he danced. There's a famous time he spoke at the Stanford University. That's like the Harvard of the West Coast. Actually, that university, the very rich man, somehow his son couldn't get into Harvard University, so he made Stanford University. And it's considered like, on that level. And Prabhupada danced. He led the kirtan, he was doing this simple step with his hands in the air. And I guess it was a campus newspaper. They said Swamiji introduces the Swami step, this dance called the Swami. They called it the Swami step. And then all the devotees, followed that. And that's how Prabhupada, hands in the air and swaying back and forth, and the feet crossing back and forth. And, a very blissful dance. Prabhupada liked it. Dancing should be very graceful. But then one time, there was one Indian Mataji came to the temple, and she was some kind of a yogi or something. And she was jumping up and down, and Prabhupada started jumping up and down in kirtan. And Madhavi said, Prabhu, he got on the phone, he was calling all the temples, Prabhupada is jumping, Prabhupada is jumping. And then everybody started jumping also. So sometimes it gets pretty wild, but the Swami step. So the last verse is Bhakti Nai Veda Nai Name Kubadoro. Bhaktivedanta Nama Ebe Sartaka Koro. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta. Signed, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, on board the ship Daladutta, Commonwealth Pier, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, dated 18 September 1965. That's the day he arrived.
Oh, super.
So, yeah, so we recommend everybody study this if you really want to know Prabhupada. But there's so much now. People want to know, what is it. My experience with Prabhupada was basically through his books. I was fortunate because I was staying in Los Angeles Temple for a while, and when I was first in the movement, and Prabhupada liked the weather there in the winter, so he would sometimes spend a couple months there in Los Angeles. We were not given much chance for any kind of association, but every day he was there for greeting the deities on time, get back from the morning walk. He always took the morning walk, and even if it was raining, he'd take a little drive in the car. And he'd always be there, greet the deities, bowing down, dandavats in front of 3 altars. Then he would go and he would kind of touch the feet of all the pictures of Krishna, take Charnamrita, and then sit down, Jai Radha Madhava. And then he's in classes. And that's what I witnessed. He did the prayers of Queen Kunti, and that's where the book came from those classes. I remember the second canto, especially when he talked about, the part of the second canto where saying all the different benedictions you can get from different demigods. And it said, if you want sex, you can worship Indra. And Prabhupada really got into that and talking about how Indra was cursed. And it was originally not 1,000 eyes, it was 1,000 vaginas. And Indra cried and said, no, no, no. And Prabhupada said, unfortunately, some of our devotees are more attached to the vagina than to Krishna. It's very graphic, very strong, but every day. And then right after the class, there would be kirtan. Prabhupada didn't lead the kirtan, other devotees would lead. He would start out with the kartal and then he would play the gong. And of course, that's where he started giving the cookies to the children and always encouraging the children to jump and dance. I saw him, taking the gong stick and, just higher, and children would go wild, everybody would go wild. And then everybody would rush off to the service, which many was just going out to the stupid boat. So we are very, very blessed and fortunate. I was just listening to devotees that we're all Prabhupada disciples in Florida. Everybody just kept saying how fortunate to be with devotees still, and that there's so many more devotees in spite of all the defects. Prabhupada picked up anyone and everyone. All they had to do was be willing to chant Hare Krishna. He never considered what someone's background was. He saw right through all that. He knew everyone's a spirit soul. And he just thought of how to engage everybody. Krishna's servant. So he engaged so many people. Allen Ginsberg was a very famous poet. He was also famous for intoxication and almost that. But that was it. But he served Prabhupada. He gave the harmonium. He helped Prabhupada get the visa. He did many things. And Prabhupada had him lead the kirtan at the big rock festival. Prabhupada spent hours just talking with him about Krishna and Vrindavan. So the Ramanand Sagar, the movie maker, Prabhupada met him and told him, you should make movies about Krishna. And he did after some time. He made the Mahabharata and he made also Krishna. And maybe made the, I don't know which one, he made the Ramayana and Krishna. So Prabhupada just utilized everybody. Got the Beatles, now they sing songs about Krishna, and they spread all over the world. But mainly through his books. Prabhupada put so much effort. When we read the Lilamrita and you read what it was like for Prabhupada to get those the first canto printed, what to speak of getting the money, but he did find, Samaji Maharaji gave quite a bit, and Hanumat Prasad Podar, so he could print the book, but he had to piece by piece, just get a little money and he would print. And when they were printed, then he could buy 10 books or 20 books, whatever money he had, and sell them, come back and get more. Finally, he was able to pay for everything and take with him those. All he had when he went to America was his few basic clothes, not proper clothes for the New York weather, and the 200 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. No money. The only way he got money was by selling the books and trying to find people to talk to. And he did it with great difficulty. Prabhupada said many nights he went to sleep hungry. He never had good health. It was really amazing austerities that he did. So we should take that up, we should know how, what, and that should inspire us to, for us, we might think we have trouble, but we have so much facility. Prabhupada gave us a huge movement. We have all the books. The books of Bhagavad Gita has become very, very famous. People are selling so many Srimad Bhagavatam. Last night here at the Govardhan village, there's one family from England, and there was a book table, and this family's all book distributors. They saw nobody was attending the book table somehow or other, and they just started selling books. And little boys about 12 years old. The Mataji sold, I think, 3 Bhagavatam sets. And then the father told me the boy in the marathon in London, he sold 27 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. And they're very expensive. But this young boy, he told me, I love book distribution. So we're very fortunate because, we did a little book distribution in the early days. Now we're not able to put out that much physical energy sometimes, and we have too many other things, somehow Krishna's given us. But so many young people, even young children, new devotees, are distributing much more than ever before and starting temples, and, in Middle East and Middle West and USA of all places. And they're really, yay and yay to Papa, the place that people have taken shelter of all sinful desires. So we can go on and on, but if you want to know Prabhupada, read his books. And now we have so much books of memories specific, people that were actually with Prabhupada, details of how he was dealing with every kind of situation, how much struggle it was to create the Radharasa Vihari temple in Juhu, how we had to, teach lawyers how to do the job. So many things. From the very beginning, nothing but difficulty. More the movement grow, more problems, people coming and going, people trying to cheat him. But he just carried on, and we read in this poem, unlimited full dependence on Krishna. So Krishna used him, and he wants us to be like that also. And we can also. We can't be the founder of Charya. We can't start the movement. That's already been done. But we can push it on, and we can take it to more and more homes, more and more towns and villages. When Prabhupada was on a radio in New York, very early day, the announcer, they study a little bit. So he said, Swamiji, we've heard that sannyasis are not supposed to cross the ocean. I don't know where that came from. But Prabhupada, he said, Prativite Chayata Nagaradi Gram. Lord Chaitanya said, every town and village. He knew I was coming. So fortunately for us, he came and inspired people to go all over the world and introduce people to Prabhupada. This is all we're trying to do. That's the parampara. We're trying to connect people to the parampara. Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of our society. And he's the main branch of the Lord Chaitanya tree, the ISKCON society. But it's the Hare Krishna movement. It's spreading in so many different ways in towns and villages and homes and internet, television, radio, so many ways. So please pray for all of us and take advantage of all this literature Prabhupada has given us and still giving us more and more. And here in the Eco Village, there's so many books written by devotees here. A couple of the devotees are turning out like a new book every month, which are trying to bring people towards Prabhupada books, like guidebooks. People are caught up in the mature world, how to get yourself out and how to control the mind, or all these things. The main thing, you want to control your mind, chant the holy name, chant louder, read the Bhagavatam out loud, read Krishna book, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna Lila also. So that's 1 hour. I don't know how much time you want. Do we have any comments or questions?
Maharaj, thank you so much for
I
this.
can't get the page to show up on my computer at the moment. I can't see everybody.
Yeah, I request all the Vaishnavas assembled. We have quite little crowd, only 15 of them, but I would request as many of you to turn on your videos, please. Whoever can, that will be very encouraging. Thank you. Sadarinam Prabhu. I don't know. This Zoom age is very tricky, and we cannot make out how many are attentive on the class or whatever. But I would, okay, before going into that, I would like to thank Maharaj for a wonderful, wonderful nectarian pastimes about Srila Prabhupada. Very, very touching and very heartening to hear from your divine lotus mouth, Maharaj. You had covered all the points about Bhaktisiddhanta, his poem to Bhaktisiddhanta Goswami Maharaj, then how they found the magazine, then how the Swami steps came in, how he wrote the Guru Kripa. So wonderfully, you covered all the points in such a very, very nice way, and it's so inspiring to hear from you, Maharaj. We are sort of grandchildren of Srila Prabhupada, and we really need to go a long way, and the amount of services the first generation you Maharaj has done. We have a long way, and we all want to take your blessings to come that way and able to serve the much nicely, and take the full spirit of Srila Prabhupada. And that's what I would like to share here, and very inspiring, and we are very thankful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us Krishna consciousness and saving us from this hellish life, what Srila Prabhupada wrote. And thank you all the wonderful disciples of Srila Prabhupada for continuing the legacy and giving us, because of you all, we are able to get connected to Srila Prabhupada. You all took it well, and that's why we are able to also get it down the line. So we should thank you so much for all your wonderful services to Srila Prabhupada in your early days and even now. I would like to thank you very much for this, and I open to a few of you or whoever is there to feel free to come and put out your thought process if you want. You can go on.
Yeah.
Unless Maharaj want to say something. Yeah.
I see only a couple cameras on. Thank you for those who have your camera on. Kripala Gaurachandra, Sadaharinam, It's frustrating, you know.
Oh yeah, Gauri Sairam at
Hare
last.
Krishna
So she was
Maharaj.
the first one to join. Thank you.
There's another camera.
Gunamai, Gunamai Radha,
Okay, Radhika.
Gunamai Radhika, Usita Mataji, along with the daughter. Thank you. Naresh Reddy, thank you.
But for us, it's very super enlivening to see
Yeah.
second, even third and fourth generation, sometimes very small children, just so happily dancing and, you know, bowing down by just spontaneously. You know. I think so. To see how it's just to understand. The more we see how these things are developing all over the world, all the here, this eco village, you know, you got a little, it's like another Vrindavan. You got the Radha Madan Mohan exact copy of the Madan Mohan temple and the deed, you know, and beautiful temple and so many devotees and cows and farming and the work they're doing in the villages, helping the local villagers, because you all know in India, so many people are leaving the villages for the city because, you know, traditionally they lived without money for so many years, thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
But now the children get contaminated by the television and such, and they want things that cost money, and they're not making money in the village. But the devotees here are teaching them how they're giving them actually fruit trees and teaching them, you know, natural farming so they can actually make money, and people are becoming really happy. Last night, about 12 or 13,000 people came.
Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol.
And everybody got a feast.
Of course.
And so, and then of course, in Bombay and Juhu, about 10 lakhs of people come for Janmashtami.
Jai, Hari Hari.
Many temples.
Yeah,
Similar.
there's a huge explosion. There's a huge explosion.
In India, the big temples, hundreds of thousands of people come. Then in London, 60,000, but everywhere it's a huge thing. And it's all because of Prabhupada. Otherwise, even the Indian people in general, they knew the name of Krishna, and they knew he plays a flute or whatever, but nobody really knew Krishna. Very few people. They didn't know
Maharaj,
about
yesterday it happened here. We were, because it's a working day and many of them have gone to India, we were just thinking only 100 people will come in our villa. We saw 350 people came up. So we were just overwhelmed with to handle them, which was totally unexpected for us. But it is Srila Prabhupada's mercy. It's spreading so wild.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's inconceivable, but it's going on bigger and bigger everywhere, you know. Even the night before here, before Janmashtami, they expected 1,000 people and 3,000 people.
Yeah.
They had to do emergency cooking.
Yes. So thank you very much, Maharaj, for joining us. Before we wind up, we have a request by Sada Harinam Prabhu. His sister's daughter, her name is Mrs. Rashmi. She is having a health issue. She's just 6 months pregnant and she is suffering from a gallbladder stone and she's having severe pain. She wants your prayer for her to get relief from the pain and she's able to think about Lord Krishna.
Well, that's the only hope, is to think of Krishna. We'll pray. Drink a banana, the banana pit, you know, the white thing inside the banana tree. Drink the juice. Drink the juice.
Sadanam Prabhu,
Yes,
did you
Prabhu.
hear Maharaj say?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Prabhu.
That's the Ayurvedic
banana stem juice. That's what Maharaj is suggesting.
The white stick that's inside it, and people cook it, you know, it's usually, at least in
we know that
markets, you can find it.
White stem.
Yeah, yes, Maharaj. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, it's
So you can
mostly,
tell her to have those juice, that juice for the
Oh,
you
gallbladder
can
stone.
get it. Otherwise, it's very painful, but it usually goes away. It usually passes. So we'll pray, everybody pray,
thank you so much, Maharaj.
and chant the holy name.
Maybe we'll
Yes.
chant once, Maharaj, for her, for all of us together.
Yeah, everybody 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And dance the Swami step, you can always remember Prabhupada. It's
Yes,
fun to
Maharaj.
teach people that step, you know. Everybody
Yes,
likes
Maharaj.
it. And the hands in the air, Prabhupada stressed that.
Haribo.
Panchata always had the
Haribo.
hands in
Hands in the air, not in your shoulder.
the air.
Hands in the air.
And look up. Okay, that's it.
Haribo.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada
Dr.
strength and
Chandra Swami
Namaste.
Maharaj ki jai. Srila
Jai.
Jai.
Every
Prabhupada
day for
ki
remembering
jai.
Prabhupada and Krishna, not just a few days a year. Okay?
Thank you,
Srimad
Maharaj. Thank you. It's
Bhagavatam,
late for
Hari
you.
Hari 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 Bol.
Yeah.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Thank
So
you.
thanking
Hare
Maharaj for his good health and joining, we'll all chant, although Maharaj left. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. Would anyone want to glorify Prabhupada? We have only 15 of us. So if anyone want to share how Prabhupada has saved you, please take this opportunity. We have a chance, good chance, because only 15 of us and we can talk about Srila Prabhupada. I would request, I will encourage all of you, whoever is assembled, to please tell few words, and that will please Prabhupada. More than that, it will purify you and me. Yes, go ahead.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna. First of all, I would like to offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, thank you very much for connecting us into this your moment, and it has really saved my life. I don't know if I am not connected to ISKCON, I don't know where I would be at this time. So thank you very much for that. And you always say that you're always living in your books. So we are reading every day Srimad Bhagavatam. We feel that, we understand everything when we read it. And it is also said that, we are actually associating with you when we are reading your books. But moment after reading the books, we forget everything. We don't remember anything. So only my request, my humble request is that you please bless us so that whatever we read, so many examples, so many devotees examples we give how they have, actually achieved the success in devotional service. My humble request is that please bless us, please guide us. Whatever we are reading, whatever we are learning from that, we apply into our life so that we can also perfect in the path of devotional service and make our life perfect in this life only, so that we don't have to take birth again, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. This is what is my request to you, Prabhupada, on your appearance day and also on the auspicious day of Nandosa. Thank you very much, Govinda Prabhuji, giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Haribo, thank you very much. Very, very enlightening. Thank you.
Haribo.
I think here we have a few other devotees who want to do next. You should come forward quickly. I should not call the name.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, may I?
Yes, that's the way. Come forward. Take the lead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, like to glorify Prabhupada, I don't have that, what do you call, I'm very
Oh,
insignificant.
you have everything. You have everything. Come on, come on.
So just like, we are all together because of Srila Prabhupada. That's what is the thing, it constantly comes. Otherwise, we wouldn't know each other, right? Because of Prabhupada's mercy that we are all together. And another point is like, without knowing Prabhupada, I wouldn't have known about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because till I came to ISKCON, I never knew who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu. So this parampara, which is amazing, really, like it's opened our eyes to such wonderful, insights of Radha and Krishna, worship of Radha and Krishna. Otherwise, we are from South India, we didn't know much about the glories of Radha and Krishna. So it's Prabhupada who has really given this knowledge to us and empowered us to understand. And also the chanting, it's really the more we chant, we feel that we are more and more connected to Krishna. So this is what I want to really say. And from the bottom of my heart, I really thank Srila Prabhupada for putting so much of energy on his books. And also like how Kripal Prabhu said, I want him to inspire so that we can read more and remember. His words are perfect, actually. We are hardly remembering what we read. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this opportunity.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Keep it up.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And who is the next fortunate one volunteering? Haribol, Sadarna Prabhu and Pavani Mataji. Should I take it as one person speaking or two of you talking together?
One person.
So one person talking for the other person, like that, right? Okay.
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for Mataji and Kripalu Prabhu for giving the start. Yeah, we are so thankful to Srila Prabhupada, to Guru Maharaj, to all the great Srila Prabhupada's disciples, because of whom we are able to understand such a sublime message of Lord Krishna. It is said Lord Krishna is so inconceivable to even such exalted devatas like Indra, Brahma. He was so impossible to contemplate or understand, and Bhagavad Gita seems to be easy for us today. But if we just read the translation of the Bhagavad Gita, we cannot simply understand how to bring it to the mind, the words of Lord to Arjuna. There are two ways one can, through path of knowledge, you can contemplate, or through path of renunciation, Krishna is telling. But how, we cannot know. But once you read the commentary of Srila Prabhupada, even that one paragraph will give a full something. It fills us completely, it nourishes us actually. And as Kripalu Prabhu rightly told, we just forget after that. And this is where we request, we should I pray to all the Vaishnavas, all the Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, to bless us, to remember his words and then put it in practice. Yeah, Prabhu. This is our prayer, and keep us united in the mission of Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Haribol. And I'm sure this is the voice of Pavani Mataji. It's not Sadarnam Prabhu. Voice of Pavani Mataji through Sadarnam Prabhu. Correct, no, Mataji? Now Usita Mataji will give the voice of Raghunandan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, pranams Prabhuji. My Prabhu went outside, Prabhuji.
That's why your voice is, he is giving his voice through you.
Yes, but I don't know how to talk all this thing, Prabhuji. Whatever in my heart is happened, I am expressing today. Prabhupada mercy only, we are in this path only, Prabhuji. Otherwise, we are in the cinema, otherwise we are in the pub, we are in somewhere, we are is there. Because of Prabhupada mercy, we are sitting at Vaishnava's mercy, we are doing, Prabhuji. What I am requesting Prabhupada, I am reading that Prabhupada book. No, I feel I am also there in that place like that. I am reading only, my screen is going that place. Same thing I am also requesting Prabhupada. I also want to Bhagavatam also I want to study like that. I want to mood like that. I want to give Prabhupada like that. I am begging Prabhupada Prabhuji. Please all Vaishnavas, please pray for me. I also inspire Bhagavatam like that. I am asking Prabhuji. Please, any mistakes is there? No, please. Sorry, Prabhuji.
No, Mataji, super. Very well, very well. Well done. I'm sure Prabhupada is very happy and you gave the voice of Raghunanan Prabhu. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Thank you. Now here comes Dina Pavana's voice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranam.
Dina Pavana is speaking, huh? All of you imagine.
I have written and kept an offering for Srila Prabhupada. I'll just read Prabhuji.
Yeah, please. That's very good. Yeah.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, on this most auspicious day, please accept my most humble and respectful obeisances and kindly forgive my offenses. Although I am an insignificant, full of faults, still I am constantly awaiting your causeless mercy to be bestowed upon me. You are the storehouse of compassion for the poor and suffering souls like me. Even without your physical presence, you are present in your Vani, your books and instructions. Thank you for coming to this world and showing us path of bhakti. Thank you for providing us so many books which help us to get connected to the Lord. Thank you for giving us the Dhammas like Mayapur, Vrindavana and Jagannath Puri. Thank you for giving us the association of wonderful devotees who are selflessly directing us on the path of Krishna consciousness. I am unlimitedly, eternally indebted to you as you have showered me your inconceivable, causeless mercy of unlimited, profound love of Krishna. Your humble servant, Remmi Radhika Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, humble servant Ramme Radhika Mataji and
Dina Mavana Mata. And Madhavan.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anybody else? Naresh, you want to say?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Welcome.
I'm not qualified to glorify Srila Prabhupada, but I just want to mention a few words, Prabhuji. But I've just started a Prabhupada biographies book recently. So when I'm reading Prabhupada books, I feel like, getting goosebumps, like, going to that place actually. So as Usti Mataji said that, so in my lifetime, Prabhupada written so many books. In my lifetime, I'm expecting that at least I can read that books. Prabhupada written for so many books, but at least I can read all these books. It's that is my life ambition. Prabhupada, please give me that mercy. I can read all your books in my lifetime at least. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Bol. Is this Sadhana Mataji's voice?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
Same voice, no?
Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
Your separate voice. Okay, tell you want to say? Okay, it's okay. Thank you all for joining. Those who are on the video, I have already covered. It is wonderful to be together and be connected. Actually, because it's a very small gathering, we are able to be well connected and nicely able to talk freely. If there are, let's say, 50 people, we will not be able to talk so freely also. Correct? And everyone will not get this opportunity. But we are extremely...
say something?
Prabhu, yeah, I know. I want to be very, very thankful to Srila Prabhupada to give this such a nectarian Krishna conscious. We are connected to the highest form of human life. Human life, is everyone is trying to do so many things, and Prabhupada is able to rightly connect us to the highest form one can achieve. This is what one can achieve. All of us are yearning to go high and high and high in life. Maybe it was materially, but then it ceases at one point of time. But then Prabhupada connects us from the soul. So we are able to connect directly, and Srila Prabhupada is able to connect us to the highest form of human evolution. So this is Prabhupada's amazing, and Srila Prabhupada is undoubtedly Satyavaisha avatar. Otherwise, you can see the whole lot of, even just Bhagavad Gita, you can see the whole lot of Bhagavad Gita. I don't know how many pages. I know we are having 700 slokas. How many pages of that book? Anyone can quickly see Bhagavad Gita as it is and see how many pages. Let's say, I don't know, 700. I don't know how many pages. Whatever number of pages, you can see a unique sentence in every Srila Prabhupada purport. You cannot find even one line getting repeated in another place. This is very unique. This is only Bhagavad Gita. Now, we take Bhagavatam. The entire Bhagavatam, the substance is different, the style is different, the flavor is different. And unless Srila Prabhupada has been an empowered person, it is not possible. And see the humility what Srila Prabhupada has put himself in the Boston Pier, what Maharaj told, that he said that he is saying that I'm your most unfortunate and insignificant beggar. How is it possible for someone to come to this sort of thought process before he even started such a huge movement? He started a massive movement, but then he himself was so humble. So we need to get to that stage. I'm just praying to Srila Prabhupada that I want to be his representative. Kripal Prabhu, you found the Bhagavad Gita? How many pages?
763. 763.
763 pages.
Yes.
Correct? So 763 pages of purport, and that's only Bhagavad Gita. And we have Bhagavatam, we have Chaitanya Charitamrita, and if you, every leaf after leaf, purport after purport, you can see the flavor is different. The style is different. It touches you in a different perspective in your life. Why should Srila Prabhupada take this effort? In fact, it is Gauranga Mahaprabhu's mercy, so we should not forget that he is a Senapati Bhakta who has come to this world. So, and also his wonderful disciples who are also able to connect us to Prabhupada. Like I told Kavichandra Maharaj, because of these great acharyas and his disciples, we are able to connect it. But Prabhupada is so unique. He is like a touchstone, actually. Wherever, who said that? I think Radhava Prabhu gave in one of his class, when he was seeing, while he was traveling through in the ship, he would have seen the ports of the port, Suez Canal. He would have seen the the Suez Canal all along. Wherever Prabhupada saw, it all became Krishna conscious. So that is the power of Srila Prabhupada. Power of Srila Prabhupada. So is really, and our generations can be saved if they can take in the same spirit. And I really wish that we are able to. I personally would want to pray and beg to Srila Prabhupada that to remove all the kachara from my heart and head, and all my obstacles are removed, and I am able to serve Srila Prabhupada in the same spirit, or in the same spirit, establish whatever Srila Prabhupada want. I want to be his small speck and do my best. Thank you. Thank you, Sadarana Prabhu.
No, Gauring Mataji also you want to hear.
Yeah, she was raising her hand.
Yeah.
Actually, my voice should have been her voice. Gaurangi Mataji, where are you? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Welcome online without video.
Yeah. I'm sorry you cannot see me. I just wanted to share that how we are told that the holy name and the Lord Krishna are non-different. So, but we cannot really conceptualize how the sound and the form of the Lord can be same. So like that, though we have not associated with Srila Prabhupada at all, but when we read his purport, we feel that we are living with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada is connecting with us. And we feel Prabhupada's presence in his words. His words are non-different from him, actually. But when you don't read the purport, you know that you're missing something, you're missing somebody. You're just reading the translation, and we are not really getting connected to Krishna, but it is Krishna's words. All these the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita are spoken by Lord Krishna himself, but though we may not get connected to it, but the purport.
Canto.
The
Bhagavatam 10th canto, until Srila Prabhupada wrote, and after that you can tell that experience.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, that how you, when you read the purport, you feel that you're with Prabhupada. Prabhupada is talking to you, he's instructing you, and you're associating with him. So that's what, when you read other purports written by other devotees, you know that you're missing the link. So this is Prabhupada's mercy and his power that has been bestowed upon him by the Lord. So though we have not seen Prabhupada at all, we have not seen him, we only heard him, seen him as video. Personally, we have never seen him at all, but still we are connected to him by his words, by his instructions, and by being in the institution of ISKCON. You feel Prabhupada's presence when you are with ISKCON devotees. So I pray to Srila Prabhupada that I always should remain under the shelter of ISKCON, be with devotees, be an instrument in serving ISKCON. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada.
Fantastic. Jai Ho. Amazing analogy of holy name and connecting Prabhupada's words. Very nice. Thank you. I find Radhabha Prabhu here, but what do you want to say? Radhabha Prabhu, are you around? Hare Krishna. Haribol. Yeah, say a few words, please. Welcome to our program.
Yeah, it was nice. I think Maharaj has already left, right? I was there listening.
You were there, but you were not there. You were there, but you were not there.
I was there, but not there. I was listening intermediate and, taking the gist of it. So Maharaj was like tired, I think, because he had a long session. He is in Golden Eco Village.
Yeah, it was very nice. He gave a wonderful class. Thank you very much. Thanks for arranging that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for motivating me to call him.
No, I now motivate you to give your offering to Prabhupada.
Yeah. So, of course, as we all know, nothing is more precious to us than Krishna consciousness now. And the most precious gift anybody has given to us is Krishna and Gauranga. And that was only possible because of the great sacrifice of His Divine Guest, Srila Prabhupada, with no compromise on quality, quantity, and preaching. He is one personality that stood out against the onslaught of Western culture. And when we read and when we listen to his lectures, or see the interaction of his disciples, that they speak about his strength, he is very short in height. Maybe, if you look at him physically, nobody would be frightened of him. But all the people who interacted with him said that he had that heaviness, of the strength of Krishna, which he commanded actually. And when he wielded it also, of course, whenever required, he was also compassionate in the same level to give it back to the devotees whenever required, and to change the hearts of people with such easy, you can say, succor, that for us, like we are struggling to get devotees, into Krishna consciousness, and they leave after some time, and we struggle again. But Srila Prabhupada's whoever he preached and got fixed into Krishna consciousness are eternally there right now. I mean, they have been changed from such low levels. I mean, we have stories of people who are cheating, who are stealing, and who are doing drug business, etc. The worst things that could be possible at the time. But still, now we take the venerated dust of those wonderful devotees because they have become gold mines of Krishna consciousness. So that is the potency of Srila Prabhupada. And we are very fortunate to be actually under this great umbrella. In some way, the shadow of protection is always there. And as long as we are under this umbrella, I'm sure we will have no troubles. Not physical troubles I'm talking about, but spiritual progress. And all of us are also under the shelter of our Guru Maharaj. And he is the most compassionate follower of Srila Prabhupada again. And he's spreading it both sides, up, down, north, south, everywhere. So we are at all cost indebted to our grandfather, spiritual master, and because of the mercy, we are still prevailing. And thank you all for being such wonderful support to Guru Maharaj in his mission to Srila Prabhupada. Please, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jai Ho, Radha Prabhu, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for all of you for joining. And here we are now going